I want to go ahead and get started. I would like to take a couple minutes on the front end of the program to recognize our special guests from our Board of Education and Central Office. I see Mr. Carl Evans, Board of Education member. Mr. Evans. Do we have any other Board of Education members here? From our cabinet, we have Dr. Luis Cordoba. Dr. Cordoba, could you give us a... And my boss, Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Vicki Murillo. At this time, I would like to introduce one of our students to welcome all of you here today. And so I'm not going to steal his thunder by welcoming you. I'll thank you for coming later. But we are so glad to have all of you come out today to help share this celebratory evening with our students at Manual Career and Technical Center. Tonight, our special student that gets to welcome all of you is someone that I've gotten to know quite well this year. I'm going to tell a quick little story about Clifton. We had a recruitment fair at Paseo Academy one Saturday, quite early in the morning, and I had talked to Chef, Clifton is one of our culinary arts students, about setting up an omelet station possibly so one of our students could demonstrate some of the things they learn in class. And Chef Charest said, well, I think Clifton McCutcheon would be an outstanding student to do that. And I remember, even though this is going to be hard for many of you to believe, I can remember being Clifton's age. And sometimes early on Saturday morning, I didn't like to get up that early, so I thought, well, I better call over to Clifton's house and make sure he's out of bed. Just as I left my house, which was about 25 minutes away, and Clifton answered the phone, and I said, are you up yet? And Clifton said, Mr. Bitzenberg, I'm sitting on the sofa waiting on you. So I went over and picked him up, and he was the hardest working guy at the recruitment fair because everyone enjoyed his omelet so much. And if you saw some of the slides at the beginning, Clifton was there with his chef's hat on doing omelets. So at this time, be careful, don't trip on those steps, hon. At this time, I'd like to introduce Clifton McCutcheon, one of our senior culinary arts students.
How's everybody doing? My name is Clifton. Oh, right there. All right. My name is Clifton McCutcheon. Nice to meet you all. The staff and students of Manual Career and Technical Center would like to welcome our family and friends to the Career Center Annual Awards Day program. The students being honored today have maintained great character, participated in the mock interviews, and have demonstrated some level of mastery in meeting the competencies in their program area. I would like to thank you on behalf of all of the students for showing your support as we celebrate our accomplishments and prepare to transition to college and the workforce to enhance and demonstrate the skills that we have learned. Once again, thank you.
Good evening, staff, parents, and students. My name is William Winston, Coordinator of Recruitment, Retention, and Follow-Up for the Career Technical Center. It's been a pleasure to work with a great group of students that are willing to go above and beyond towards their success and willing to achieve their goals. Apart from the efforts of myself, the success of any project depends largely on the encouragement and guidelines of many others. I would like to show my greatest appreciation to the CTE teachers who support our students. Your guidance is very valuable to the success of our students. I would like to also express my gratitude to the people who have been instrumental to the success of career technical education. Sheila Samuels, Robin McDonald, Denise Walker, coordinator of CTE, Rashawn Carruthers, and director of CTE, Jack Bitzenberg. I am very grateful and thankful for their consistent help and support. To all our guests and parents, thank you for your attendance, and we welcome you to enjoy the Manual Career Technical Center Awards Banquet. Thanks.
There are plenty of seats down here if you'd like to come on down front. It's my pleasure at this time to introduce our guest speaker this evening, Pastor Michael Randall. Michael is a native of Kansas City, Missouri. He's married to Linda Randall, and some of you may recognize that name. Mrs. Randall is an international gospel concert soloist, and I want to tell you something, that lady can sing. They have 2 children, Patience and Joy. Michael attended Manual Career and Technical Center. He's a graduate of this same school that you all have attended this past year, and some of you for 2 years. Pastor Randall attended in 77 and 78 and graduated from the drafting program. He went on to attend the University of Kansas, where he received double bachelor's degrees in environmental design and a degree in architecture and urban design with a minor in sociology. And trust me, those are tough degrees. Pastor Randall is scheduled to graduate with a master's degree from Liberty Baptist Theological Seminary in the fall of 2014. Michael has lectured with the National Center for Fathers and the Urban Fathering Project in Shawnee Mission, Kansas, and has taught architectural design and CAD, computer-aided drafting, from 1992 to 1999 for the Kansas City School District at Van Horn Engineering and Technology Magnet High School. He was on staff as a youth pastor for over 20 years for the Paseo Baptist Church and Christian Fellowship Baptist Church in Kansas City. He is the founder and senior pastor of Mosaic Bible Fellowship in Kansas City. And if you noticed our landscaping around the school, when I first met Pastor Randall, he stopped by to see if we would be interested in having some community individuals come together to help us with a beautification project at the school. I thought we'd probably have 5 or 6 people. There were almost 150 that showed up that weekend. People were donating shrubs. There was heavy equipment here. His wife and children were in the cafeteria serving people lunch. It was just an absolute enlightening experience to see how many people were so willing to come out and help the Kansas City Public School District, to help Manual Career Center, and to be a part of this larger thing we call community. But the real reason, I know this is a little longer than I thought it was supposed to. Rashawn's back there looking funny at me. The real reason that I asked Pastor Randall to speak tonight is not because of all the degrees, but because he is a success story. He's a success story because he is one of us. He is a product of this great school district. He's a product of an area university. So he is a success story for the Kansas City Public Schools, for Manual Career Center, but more importantly, a success story in life and living. And with that brief introduction, I give you Pastor Michael Randall.
Wow. I feel like I can float now. Well, I just want to thank you, Mr. Jack Bitzenberg, Dr. Bitzenberg, and teachers and staff and relatives and friends, and especially the graduating class. For the next few minutes, I just want to share a few things about this school. And when I first met Mr. Bitzenberg, he basically reminded me of a preacher, because he broke out the chalk and he had a little board in his room, in the conference room, and he started diagramming some very important things about this school, about the DNA of this school. And there's just three things that I just want to touch on, and then I'll just sit down so that you can graduate. One is rigor. The other one is relationships. The other one is relevance. And so I just want to touch on a couple of those things, and then, like I said, I'll just sit down. When you look at educational rigor, that term is used by educators to describe instruction and schoolwork and learning experiences that are academically and intellectually challenging. But when you have rigor in education, you are challenged to question assumptions and to think deeply rather than to lessons that merely demand memorization or information recall. For example, fill in the blank worksheets and multiple choice tests would not be considered rigorous by most educators today. Now, I taught in the school district, and I use multiple choice, and I use some fill in the blank, and I'm sure we've all done that. But they're not really what educators would call rigorous. Yet, my first rigorous lesson that caused me to think deeply as a young man was a fill in the blank assignment sent to me in a text message back in the 3rd grade. Well, when I say text message, I'm talking about old school text message. I'm talking about like paper and crayon. And I was in the 3rd grade, and I was sitting across from a cute little girl, and she had freckles, and she had little braids sitting on the top of her head, and the light was just hitting her just right. And she gave me one of those fill in the blank questions. Does anybody know what that is? Do you what? Like me? Yes or no? Fill in the blank. That was my first rigorous assignment, because here's what I did. I don't remember what box I signed, but what I did is I checked the box. I gave the assignment back to Phyllis. Phyllis took the paper. She crumpled it up in her hands. She put it in her mouth. She chewed it and swallowed it. Now, here's what it did for me. I was shocked, all right? And it frightened me, because here's what I didn't want. I didn't want a commitment at 3rd grade. And I didn't want to be dangerously in love. I didn't want to see her halo. And I even rewrote Luther's song, which says, the closer I get to you, the more you want my graham crackers and milk. And I wasn't about to give up my graham crackers. I wasn't about to give up my milk to Phyllis. And I wasn't about to give up my blue crayons, because they were very valuable to me at that time. Now, on a serious note, the teacher of that class, Mrs. Bush, gave me a very rigorous assignment. She said, Michael, here's what I want you to do. I want you to design and build an African hut. She gave me this little design, and that was the first thing that caught my attention, as I can remember in my school career when I was a young boy. I designed it. It was just a round little hut building with a door, 2 little windows, a conical shaped roof, and made out of straw. And as I was designing and building that thing, I was all engaged in it. I was doing this rigorous assignment. And that got my attention. And at that time, at that point, I knew I wanted to be an architect. Here's what she did. She took that little building, she placed it at Richardson Elementary. It's a round school. If you're all familiar with Richardson Elementary, she placed it in the case, and every time I walked around as I was going to lunch, I would see that little building in that case. And I had a sense of pride, as I know some of you feel, students today, because you have completed a rigorous assignment. You have completed your course of study. You know, during that time, it was a very crazy time, because back in 1968, one of the greatest world leaders that this country has ever known, the greatest civil rights leader in this world, Dr. Martin Luther King, was assassinated during that year. We were living in a post sort of Jim Crow era. We were separate and we were not equal. And all we were doing, we were asking the question like Phyllis, but we changed the question just a little bit, because what we wanted from teachers and from our parents and from other students, we just said, do you really care about me? Fill in the blank, yes or no. We were looking for teachers, Mr. Evans. We were looking for teachers, Mr. Britzenberg, that really cared about us, because we were living in a very crazy time. But I can tell you that Mrs. Bush cared for us. Mrs. Bush would sing songs to us in our classroom just to make sure that we were cool and that we were soothed in the classroom. And when I was traveling from my house and through one winter storm and my shoes finally gave out, I had no more cardboard in the bottom of my shoe. And then the snow got into my shoe, my little feet started to freeze. And when I got to school, the teachers, along with Mrs. Bush, took up an offering and brought me a brand new pair of shoes. The teachers cared for me. Mrs. Bush cared for me. When I got to the 5th grade, Mr. Houston Montgomery cared for us. All 275 pounds, 6'4" of him, along with a custom-made paddle. And so when you got out of a line in Mr. Houston Montgomery's class, he showed you just how much he cared for you. When I got to Central High School in grade 10, Mrs. White cared for us. And when we got tired of conjugating verbs, when we got tired of reading the assignments, when we got tired of going to the board and trying to write correct sentences, Mrs. White cared for us. She would make us stand up right in the middle of the class, and here's what she would say. And she would embarrass us, so to speak. But she would say, stand up, and we would stand up, because Mrs. White, she wasn't big like Mr. Montgomery. She was just a little thing, but you respected Mrs. White. Here's what she said. He who knows not and knows not that he knows not, he is a fool. Shun him. He who knows not and knows he knows not, he is simple. Teach him. He who knows and knows not that he knows, he is asleep. Wake him. He who knows and knows he is wise. Follow him. And then she would say, now sit down. Now, I believe, graduates, that the staff, your instructors, the administrators, I don't think they want you to sit down. I think they want you to stand up inside of yourself, because you are not a fool. You are not simple. You are not asleep, but you are wiser because of the educational rigor of this technical school and because of the dynamic relationships that you have formed. I like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant just received MVP. And it reminds me, I like his jumper because it reminds me of my jumper. Y'all didn't get that. But I like him because when he was receiving the MVP, you know what Kevin Durant did? He turned around and said to his mother, Mama, you are really the MVP. And now here's what I want to, Mother's Day is coming up. Don't get it twisted. Now here's what I want to say to you. Here's what I want to say to you, graduates. If you can do this, I want you to locate a parent. Locate your parent or aunt or grandpa or grandma if you can see them. But if you can't see them, you say this to yourself as if they're in your mind's eye. So if you would right now, if your parents are here or anybody, your relatives, I want you to look at them right now. Go ahead, wave to them if you can, but I want you to look at them, and here's what I want you to say to them. Thank you. Are you listening? Say, thank you for your investment. I promise a good return. Repeat after me. Thank you for your investment. I promise a good return. That's very good. Now here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do. Locate a teacher, a staff member, an instructor, someone, an officer that helped you, that helped you get through this. I want you to look at them. Find them in here right now and say the same thing. Thank you for your investment. There you go. Thank you for your investment. I promise a good return. Now give them a hand. Finally, I would just say this. Now, when I came here, I want to talk about now academic relevancy. When I came here, Mr. Kinsey was my teacher. Now, he was my drafting instructor. Now, he's no longer here, of course, but when I came here, Mr. Kinsey was teaching architectural drafting. Now, here's what I want you to understand, is that he brought real world to the classroom. You got to remember now, I wanted to be an architect. And here's what Mr. Kinsey did. Mr. Kinsey was working for an engineering firm. So Mr. Kinsey would bring his assignment that he had from his own firm, he would put it on his desk, and he would start drawing. And he would give me an assignment out of the book. And then he would say, now, all what I'm doing right here on the desk is also right there in that textbook. Come over to my desk and let me show you in real life what I have to do in order to become an architect. That was real world features right there in front of me. Now, here's what I want you to understand, students. When I was in the 10th grade, I almost flunked out of school. I made all F's one semester. And when I came here for 2 years, the only grade that I made was a C. The highest grade I made when I was here was a C. So what am I saying is that I know you can do better than me because I know you did better than that. Does that make any sense? So for 2 years in my life, Mr. Kinsey modeled rigor, relationships, and relevance. After I graduated from here, I went on to Longview Community College, and one of the professors asked me this question. He said, where did you come from? He said, because your work is very skilled, and I didn't know it until I got outside of Manual Career that we were good at what we have been taught. And so when I got to Longview, my friend and I, Richard Wright, Richard majored in Arch-E, and I majored in architectural design. After we graduated from Longview Community College, we went to the University of Kansas. Again, we were at the top of our class. After we left the University of Kansas, we came out, we were like first-round draft picks because we had a lot of firms calling our home trying to hire us. It was the weirdest thing in the world because I never had anybody calling my home for something good. I always had teachers calling my home saying, what's wrong with your child? And now I was getting calls from firms trying to hire me. And now we could choose our career path. We could choose and transition into good jobs because of the career, because of the rigor, the relationships, and because of the relevance that we had in this school. Last assignment I want to give you is this. I want you to take your right hand, put it on your left shoulder, and flick, because haters are gonna hate. Right? Flick. Haters gonna hate. Now, here's what I want you to do. Turn to your right and look all the way back and say goodbye to the things and the mistakes that you made in your past. Just say goodbye to it, because you do not have to keep tripping over stuff that happened in your past. I want you to look forward because you got a bright future ahead of you. Now, I have one last thing I want to say, and that is this. I want you to listen to this. I'm a teacher, so I'll wait. I want you to really listen to this because this last little poem, it just talks about choices. It talks about transition. It's by Douglas Malloch, and it goes like this. If you can't be the pine on the top of a hill, be a scrub in the valley, but be the best little scrub by the side of the rill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a tree, be a bit of the grass in some highway happier make. If you can't be a muskie, well, just be a bass, but be the liveliest bass in the lake. If you can't be the highway, be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. It isn't by size that you win or you fail, but be the very best of whatever you are. May God bless you and help you to make wise decisions in your life.
A special thank you to Pastor Randall for those very encouraging words. Before we begin the presentation of certificates, I would like to introduce our faculty and staff. Please stand as I introduce you. First, we have Mr. Dennis Charest, culinary arts instructor. Okay. Mr. Garrett Malat, automotive technology. Mr. Dean Gales, automotive collision repair. Mr. Gary Hicks, construction technology. Miss Isabel Blair, health science. Miss Pamela Lucas, fashion costume design. And somewhere, Mr. Justin Robinson, broadcast television. On staff, we have Mr. Jack Bitzenberg, Director of Career and Technical Education. Mr. William Winston, Recruitment and Retention Coordinator. Ms. Denise Walker, Fiscal Technician. She's up at top. Ms. Robin McDonald, Administrative Assistant. She's at top. Ms. Sheila Samuels, Administrative Support. She's up the top. And I am Ms. Rashawn Carruthers, Coordinator of Career and Technical Education. And to that, I say thank you. Thank you to everyone for all that you do to increase student achievement. Now on to the presentation of certificates. Just like Pastor Randall said, I'll wait. To be eligible for a career and technical education certificate, students must complete a rigorous and hands-on course of study. The CTE department is made up of 9 different programs: automotive collision repair, health science, construction technology, broadcast television production, automotive technology, culinary arts, fashion and costume design, business and agriculture. Each program has a list of essential skills that students must master from August to May. At the culmination of each year, students are required to take the Technical Skills Attainment Assessment to measure what they have learned, also known as the TSA. Each program that participated opted to take the performance assessment this year. During the test, students are evaluated by outside industry professionals on multiple key program components. After looking at the evaluator scores, I'm happy to report that every single student passed. We cannot say enough about how proud we are of our students. With the help of our teachers, the students understood the importance of the test, and we had 100% attendance on all test days. Students, thank you for investing in your future. Tonight, we'll be honoring the students who have taken classes at our Manual and Paseo locations. We will be honoring all students with a certificate and a cord. Advanced students will receive special recognition with an asterisk by their name on the program and a framed certificate. Students, as your names are called, please come to the stage. Once on stage, you will receive your certificate from your instructor, shake the hand of the director, Mr. Jack Bitzenberg, and have a cord placed around your neck by Mr. William Winston, the recruitment and retention coordinator. So let's get started. We will start with automotive collision repair taught by Mr. Dean Gales. Edgar Valadez. James Bonner. Francisco Rodillo. Richard Davison. Will. RJ. Jimmy Duong. An Kwok Ha Nguyen. Marisol Damian Hernandez. Hugo Ortiz. Jose Zamora. Keyshawn Reese. And Raul Martinez. Can we get one more round of applause to the students of auto collision and repair? Next, we will have health science taught by Ms. Belle Blair. Health science students, please remain on the stage over here to my right once you receive your certificate to say your CNA pledge. Princess Barway. So that we're able to recognize all students, please be quiet so that all names can be heard. Ashley Boyd. Just stay right here. Right here. Terriana Brown. Rachel Carter. Bernice Castorena. Andre A. Dixon. Shantina Douglas. Jamisha Fennel Lane. Donnie Golston. Javier Hernandez. Stephanie Hilburn. Allison James. Takoya Johnson. Angel Jones. Is she here? Okay. Tamora Kinsey. Tanika Moore. Jasmine Neal. Nikayla Powell. Aja Njai. Not wrong one. Justice Wesley. Tiana Russell. And last but not least, Derwanda Sanders. The health science students will now recite their CNA pledge.
As a nursing assistant, I pledge to
use my hand and provide comfort to those in need of it. Provide comfort to and not argue with those in my care.
Make sure the resident is
Maintain my trust and justify in the place of the residents.
be dependent upon.
Remember the resident has a name. Assist all residents to the best of my ability.
Understand that the resident is not an interruption of my work.
Encourage independence. Use good communication skills.
Respect all residents equally.
Provide privacy.
Protect dignity. Be attentive at all times.
Recognize that the patient may have a disease, but I will not treat them as if they do. Suffer to the patient and their kindness. Keep a smile on their face. Treat the patient as if I was treat the patient as a part of my family.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why we didn't get a picture? They get a whole picture for it. I can't hold on.
Let's give one more round of applause to our new certified nursing assistants. Next, we will honor the construction technology students taught by Mr. Gary Hicks. Marcella Solis. Taish White. Makita Shaw. Ray Day. Lene Hardaway. Jasso Guzman. Is that right? Oh, sorry. Sorry, hold on. Okay. Day 2. Abdullah Haydar. Anna Kalunga. Charles Boone. Stefan Powell. Tien Fan. No, wrong one. Sorry. Joseph Nahayo. Ricardo Vehar. Jose Mendez. Nathan Scribner. Alexis Nanzima. Congratulations. Okay. Marushi Sylvester. Aaron Gonzalez. Steve Henrius. And David Medina. Thanks, Steve. Can we get one more round of applause to our construction students? Next, we will honor our broadcast television students taught by Mr. Justin Robinson and Ms. Kelly Gurning. Morgan Jones.
Daisy Zapata in construction tech.
I don't have her stuff. Okay. Kimberly Chexnader. No, you can go. Congratulations. And Matthew Locklear. Come, y'all slowing me down. Come on. Okay, thank you. Can we get one more round of applause to our broadcast television students? And I apologize, I left one student off from construction technology. I would like to honor Miss Daisy Zapata. Can you please come up?
We'll just tell her when she comes up, we'll give her the certificate.
Okay. No. Just tell her to give it up tomorrow. Okay. I can't get her now. Yeah. Can we get one more round of applause for Daisy? Next, we'll have auto technology taught by Mr. Garrett Malott. Again, so that we can properly honor all graduates, if we can please keep the noise level down to a minimum. Thank you. Aiden Duro. Ahmed Hiri. Jesse Johnston. Keon Mays. Lateef Kane. Vincent Ramsey. Antoine Scott. Malik Martin. In addition to our KCPS students, we also were joined by two Hope Academy students, Anthony Nelson. Eduardo Melendez. Congratulations. Congratulations. Can we get one more round of applause to our auto tech students? Next, we will have fashion costume design taught by Ms. Pam Lucas. Tia Thomas. Jason Hunter. Congratulations. Dion Thomas Scott. Congratulations. Congratulations. Can we get one more round of applause for our fashion and costume design students? Last but not least, we will honor our culinary arts students. Simeon Harris. Ranisha Hatley. Monisha Hawkins.
I got it. I'm gonna put them on the bottom again.
I didn't know Hatley was here. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kiera Johnson.
Help him out, Monique.
Congrats, Mom. Ravion Jones Well. Monique Lawson. Congratulations. Lisette Macedo Moreno. Yanira Maldonado. Delilah Martin.
You're the girl.
Mariah Thompson. Essence McLean. Katera Mebane. Timothy Reed. Daryl Singleton. Andrew Turpin. Jasmine Brewster.
How did it go? Did you win?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ronnie Brown.
Down here, Eric Shield. Officer, ladies. Hi, honey. Hi, baby. I'll talk to you.
Etoya Buckner. LaToya Buckner. Congrats. Unique Collins. Fabiola Corona Hernandez. Markinia D. Hart.
Oh, Fabiola's looking fabulous.
Always.
I know. She's such a sweetheart.
Jershawn Dewberry.
God, you made it with the old man. Oh, baby.
Alan Enamorado.
Mr. Shine. Another hard-working kid right here. Hi, baby. See you later.
Danae Ursery.
Make sure I give you the right one, young man. Remember, you're going to be successful. I know you are.
Kenneth Hall.
Oh, he did come. There he is. Danae's here. Hi, Miss Danae. Miss Danae.
Osman Mbwera.
You did a special when you were here for you got to go teach you again. That's why. Clifton's here. Where'd he go?
And Clifton McCutcheon.
There's Osmond. He's a sharp-dressed man, isn't he? Where's that tuxedo? Where's your tuxedo at? You told me you were wearing your tuxedo. Lied to me.
Can we get one more round of applause to our culinary arts students? In addition to the CTE certificate, some students have gone above and beyond the call of duty. This year, Manual has received the designation of a Technology Centers That Work, or TCTW. TCTW is a national school improvement initiative that was formed in 2007 to help shared time centers like ours review and implement the actions needed to produce high-demand, high-wage graduates who will be leaders in their selected careers. As a requirement of TCTW, 60 Manual seniors participated in the High Schools That Work academic assessment. 2 of our students earned the High Schools That Work Award of Educational Achievement for High School That Works in TCTW sites. Students, this accomplishment signifies your readiness for employment and post-secondary studies. This award is only given to a select group of students who have received high academic scores on the assessment in the areas of math, English, and science. Tonight, I would like to honor health science student Javier Hernandez Johnson and construction technology student Tien Fan. Tien, please come to the stage to receive your certificate. Thank you for all of your hard work. The last special recognition is to recognize the winner and honorable mention nominee for the Breaking Tradition Scholarship. To be eligible for the award, non-traditional students from each program nominated their teacher to be the state winner. Would the following young ladies from construction please come forward? Daisy Zapata, Anna Kalunga, Taish White, Marcella Solis, Makita Shaw, and Lene Hardaway. Marcella will represent the group tonight. The young ladies of Construction Technology nominated Mr. Gary Hicks, and he was chosen as the 2014 Breaking Tradition State Secondary Education winner for the state of Missouri. Mr. Hicks was honored alongside this year's other winning students, educators, and employers during a ceremony at the Missouri State Capitol Rotunda in Jefferson City on Thursday, April 17. Student Daisy Zapata had this to say in her nomination: Mr. Hicks doesn't let us quit, and he doesn't let us down. For example, if we're building something and it goes wrong, he would keep a positive attitude and assist us in problem solving it. We value the hard work and effort he has invested in each of us. We also realize that each one of us nominating Mr. Hicks come from different high schools and a different walk of life. Yet in our construction program, we unanimously agree that we wanted to nominate Mr. Hicks as a great teacher. He is uniquely special and an outstanding teacher who supports both traditional and non-traditional students. Please join me in congratulating Mr. Gary Hicks. Mr. Hicks, thank you for all that you do. This year's Honorable Mention Award went to Culinary Arts teacher Mr. Dennis Charest. Chef was nominated by the young men in his program to receive this prestigious recognition. Will the following young men please come forward? Kenneth Hall, Osman Mbera, Clifton McCutcheon, Alan Enamorado, Chef was nominated by the young men in his program. Please join me in congratulating Chef. Chef, please come forward to receive your certificate. You can be dismissed. Thank you, students. Lastly, I just have one more recognition. I apologize. I forgot about this one. I would also like to take the time to recognize the health science students who completed the BCLS CPR certification. Will the following students please stand where you are? Allison James, Donique Golston, Shantina Douglas, Angel Jones, Stephanie Hilburn, Rachel Carter, Terriana Brown, and Aja Ndiaye. Sorry. Please join me in congratulating these students on their wonderful accomplishment. Students, your time here has been very valuable. Whether you're going to work, college, or the military, please take with you all of the lessons that you have learned from manual and career and technical education. Congratulations on all your accomplishments, and we wish you much success. To close out our program, here is Mr. Jack Bissenberg with some very, very short closing remarks.
Where's the refreshment?
Back out in the lobby.
All right, there are refreshments in the lobby, so please stay with us. Some of our students, you probably noticed, were not able to come tonight. Many of our students work, and many of our students came and are having to go to work after this session and had to leave as soon as they finished up here. That was something we've just come to expect and live with. The last comments that I want to make, and they will be very, very short, I've been warned. We have a Board of Education member, assistant superintendent, and another cabinet member. We have two programs that we have expanded. One, we've just nearly completed the expansion, and if you have a minute, stop by the front lobby and look at our new health sciences lab. We're doubling the size of that. You saw these young nursing students tonight. Next year, there will be twice that many. The other program that we have been working on, the blueprints, and I believe the bid opening was today, was an expansion of the culinary arts program. We're going to expand that program to include pastry and also barista training. So to me, that sends a very loud message that our executive team and our Board of Education are listening to the voice of the customer, and you and your children are the voice of the customer. They are our customers. The last thing I want to say to all of you parents, guardians, relatives is thank you so much for sending us such wonderful students this year. Thank you so much. Give yourself a round of applause.